I've finally started playing. I think this came out last week.
Last week, yeah. No, we got code.
Or was it the week before?
No. We got code last week.
It was last week, right?
Or was it earlier this week? No, it came out this Tuesday, didn't it?
No, I think
it came out with God of War, yeah. Came out on the same day as God of War.
Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah.
But then we must have got early
bold,
code.
hey, for God of War to release alongside Sonic Frontiers.
I'm sure we got code last Friday. But anyways, it doesn't matter. I only started playing this yesterday. So I've only put in...
this game's fast.
About an hour and a half. And yeah, Sonic Frontiers is, for all intents and purposes, meant to be an open world 3D Sonic game, except it's not an open world game. I think we all just assumed when it was first shown, like, wow, Sonic has gone full Breath of the Wild. Look at all this open space to run around.
Yeah.
So on that end, it is, at least in the early hours, it's a big open hub, but there is a linear direction you sort of have to make your way through. You're going towards the next thing or whatever. It's not this open hub that, lets you pan the camera and go, oh shit, there's 4 directions I can go. Where am I going to go? It's more a thing of, no, you here, you kind of need to go that way. But getting to, and again, this is in the opening hours. I don't know if this will change between biomes or at a later stage, but getting from, A to the next point is technically a little open hub filled with lots of little platforming challenges. And to my surprise, this game is not as bad as I thought it would be. Like, again, early days, I don't know if it's Game of the Year material. I don't think it is, but it's it's just surprising. Jesus. Because I don't know, I saw reviews on this and it's kind of middling. Some people saying like, oh, it's this, it's that, whatever. I mean, I say middling in that it's not one of the best games of the year, but it's not one of the worst games.
I think people were kind of like they were saying this is a real 7 out of 10 game in a real endearing way. Like, we don't get these anymore. Where it's like, this is not a blockbuster epic that is going to change your life, but it's also not bad.
Yeah. So I think one of the reviews I watched was SkillUp. He was saying that he came out saying he does not recommend this game. However, he acknowledges that the foundation for a really good game is here, and that if they do a sequel, it could be a lot better. And I kind of get where he's coming from, because if you're watching the footage, for example, this area is like bland, and this isn't just this.
Yeah, it doesn't look
just this specific part of the map. It's like, no, the entire first biome is this huge grass area with these weird structures littered throughout, and it's, I don't know, like visually it doesn't look bad, but it's not like...
It looks drab.
Yeah, it looks drab. That's probably the best way to put it. And yeah, it just feels like, maybe more time could have been spent making it, I don't know, more colorful, maybe packing it with more stuff, or maybe making the movements around the area of tighter, like maybe the area's a bit smaller, so you don't have to go so far to get to a different platforming thing. But it's just it's weird, because this is like I think this is the first 3D Sonic game I've ever played. And not to say that 3D Sonic games haven't existed. I mean, they've been around for ages.
They've all been pretty bad, I think.
They've all been pretty bad. But I'm kind of taken aback by, I think I went in going, oh, this is not going to be a good game. And it's not as bad as I thought it would be. It's actually kind of cool.
Like entertaining?
Yeah.
Would you say it's not like... Is it the sort of game you can play for an hour or two and just kind of like check your mind out a little bit and just have a good time?
I think we'll have to see, obviously, as I carry on playing, and I check back in next week or the week after, whatever, whether at that point to go, oh, the gameplay doesn't really change. It's the same thing.
Okay, good point.
Or no, it's like I had a great time throughout. I love doing the little side platforming challenges. It's interesting because, I mean, I don't think you did play Bowser's Fury, right? I don't know if you finished Bowser's Fury. No, you didn't.
I played like a very small portion of it. Yeah.
So that Mario game that came out, was last year or the year before, I don't know. That was like a short 3 to 6 hour experience, thrown in as like a little bonus and almost a hint of what Mario games could be. And after playing that, it's like, yeah, this is an evolution of the platform. It's, it's these open areas that let you go to, anywhere you want within reason, and they are just platforming challenges sprinkled throughout. And this game feels a lot like that in some ways, but it's maybe not as polished, not as tight. So again, like the structures here, it is fun to run around and do these random things, lots of collectibles to get, lots of things to jump between, lots of fast-paced nonsense to do. Like it is fun to just do those as you're exploring. But I mean, I don't know if that'll be the case for the whole game. Will it be consistent? So we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah, but, I guess whenever this was pitched as like a sort of open world thing, I was like, that sounds like firstly ambitious and almost impossible for a Sonic game, because like Sonic games, even the 3D ones, are all about forward momentum. Yes. Like how do you create an open world that allows forward momentum in any direction? Like it just seems those two ideas just don't mesh at all. And there's probably a clever way to do it. Like Breath of the Wild very much like had a world designed where every peak gave you a view of something that was interesting, and that was really like purposeful and really, very very clever design to make sure that no matter where you were, there was always something interesting visible that could give you a kind of marker. Like, but I think with Sonic, like the main mechanic is movement. So to have that work in an open world where you're essentially like trying to create tracks that work in any direction and can be onboarded at any point is like, it just super doesn't work. So the idea of wide linear makes a lot more sense to me, and that makes Frontiers make a lot more sense.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but in the bottom right, there's a speedometer, which I love. Best touch of this game.
Is it in miles per hour?
No, there's no actual speed, but I love that it's there. So you're going this fast. But to go back to the actual platform,
I'm going 100 Sonics per second.
100 Sonics per hour. It's fast. So I completely get you with, Sonic's whole claim to fame has always been about gotta go fast, the momentum. That there are actual traditional levels littered throughout the open world where...
Like what, 2D levels?
So it's a mix. Okay, so you'll find... this game's got so many collectibles. I'm still trying to wrap my head around all of them. But one of the things you'll get is like a cog, which you can go to use at a structure which will transport you to a traditional level. And that is, you got to go from A to B as fast as you can. And there are some side objectives to do. So if, for example, some of the challenges will be like, cool, get an S tier time on this level, and it is, finish level in a minute. Collect the 5 rings on this level. Don't take damage. There's different objectives to do, so you kind of are incentivized to replay the level to tick them all off. But so I played one yesterday that was full 2D. It is just about 2D, but I've played another one that was more 3D. But ultimately, you are going from A to B as fast as you can, getting boost pads, jumping over obstacles, collecting rings. So on that front, those are really cool. And interestingly, those levels aren't bland at all. They're like packed with detail, colors, that sort of thing. So it's weird that, I kind of get it because they're little slices of Sonic levels, but it's just weird that none of that stuff translated to the open world. Because even looking at the footage now, like I've got a vantage point, it's all just green hills. It's like they looked at the very first level of Sonic, which, from the very original game, thought, what if we just made that, but a big open hub with literally just green hills and some trees, and some random structures here and there. It's like, it's not the best to look at, not the worst to look at, but it doesn't.
I think the sort of like realistic art direction just doesn't work. It just makes Sonic seem like he's in a different like universe entirely. You know what I mean? Yeah. He sticks out so much.
Yeah.
In comparison to these sort of like very like realistically shaded like ruins that you see here, and then the dull green grass, which is more accurate to real life. Like just make it fucking bright, like Green Hill Zone is like cartoonishly saturated.
Yeah.
So just do that. I don't know. Seems weird. But I've had an issue with that, like from the get-go. There was a lot of discourse about that pre-release being like, this game actually looks like visually just boring. Like, I don't understand why they went this direction, and I tend to agree.
Yeah.
So,
but that said, it seems like there are some big ideas here. So I'm very keen to keep playing to see if it manifests in interesting ways, or if this is sort of the game for the full 10 to 15 hour duration. I think, I'm not going to do this, and this is a complete different tangent, but I think if one were to 100% this game, there are so many collectibles. I just think every corner of every part I've been to has got like a challenge or a thing to pick up, which is cool, but I'm like, damn, that's a lot of collectibles. So we'll see.
It seems like you're just collecting a lot of things. You're going to spots collecting some sort of colored collectible and then like finding the next little spot to do the same thing. Yeah.
So,
are they Korok seeds?
No, but there are.
God damn it!
If you look at these little dudes here,
Ooh.
these are sprinkled throughout. Not sure what to do with them yet, but you do find them and you collect them. So, yeah.
Do they have a name?
They do, but I cannot remember what they are.
Korok seedlings.
Yeah. So that's Sonic Frontiers. I'm looking forward to
It's so nice to see Sega trying to beat Nintendo at its own game again.
Yeah, look, that's what I take my hat off to this team for trying. It's not quite an open world, but it is something different. You're like, that it
sure.
said it, I mean it all. Whatever, man.
Sure.